What's up, guys? Today I'm on the steps here to talk about something that honestly, up until I hit record, I wasn't quite sure that I even wanted to talk about. And even at this moment, I still don't want to talk about, but I want to be the change that I want to see in the world, so I'm gonna talk about this. I really wish it wasn't so stigmatized and so taboo in families and cultures, but it's depression. It's something that a lot of people suffer with silently, something that I suffered with silently because I just didn't know who to go to. I didn't really want to even have those conversations with people, and it's something that really has caused a lot of detriment in my life to people around me that up until recently I really haven't sought help for. So as a quick recap of my experience with depression, I would say I noticed something right around 8th grade. I can almost pinpoint the month, like March of 8th grade. Like, my whole personality literally just changed. I before then, I'd like to think, and none of my friends believe me now, they're like, oh, you're so quiet, you're so shy, but before then I would have liked to think of myself as this, you know, outgoing socialite. But literally something in that month just changed like that. I didn't want to be around anybody. I started losing friends. I started just withdrawing from everyone and everything. Like, I would be the person to go start a conversation, but after that it was just hard for me. Like, I didn't want to do it, and I wasn't good at doing it, at just interacting, just basic human interactions. And you know, I guess I you know, that maybe that's just puberty coming on. I didn't think anything of it. In hindsight, it was 2020 that, you know, something is wrong. But that coincided with me doing worse in school. Now, there was a lot of other things going on at that time, so I really didn't put one and one together. I thought it was because, you know, I had gone from, at 8th grade, I had moved that summer, the summer after 8th grade. So I just chalked it up to, oh, I'm in a new school, I'm just not comfortable here, I'm not going to do as well. But I went from getting A's and B's in 8th grade to C's and D's in 9th, 10th. Well, I wouldn't say I was getting C's and D's, but I was not doing as well as I had done before. I didn't have any problem in school, but I was literally putting in the minimal amount of effort I needed to do well. And again, I didn't chalk this up to anything like serious. I just assumed, you know, things happen, you change, you're not going to be the same person. Maybe I tired myself out in elementary school, you know, adding 3 plus 3. But it wasn't until I had started college, and sophomore year of college, it like everything went up a notch. You know, up until that point, okay, I've changed, I'm quiet. It's hard for me to meet people. I don't do as well in school. You know, people change. But sophomore year of college, I felt the loneliest I had ever felt in my life. Like, I went from, you know, doing well enough to pass classes to failing classes entirely, just to having to repeat classes. And my whole, like, personality, I started to withdraw with people. I started to get irritated really quickly with everyone and everything, and it was just a really dark period. Now again, I thought, okay, I'm just lonely, so I transferred schools, and the same things kept happening. I was doing a little better. I was around my family and closer friends. I was doing a little better, but I still wasn't doing well. Now, the reason I wasn't doing well is because I would go through these periods of, I would want to say like 2 to 3 week periods where I would literally not want to do anything. I wouldn't want to get up, to go outside. I wouldn't want to do my homework. I wouldn't want to do anything that would benefit my future, honestly. I wouldn't want to do anything. The only things I could reliably say I did was sleep and eat. And even that, I would sleep 12 hours. I would sleep 12 hours, I would get up, I would still feel tired, and I would probably go back to sleep. Like, I'd be up for 2 hours after I slept 12 hours, and I'd go back to sleep for another like 3-4 hours. I was sleeping most of the day. And I thought maybe I'm just tired. So I tried all kinds of vitamin supplements. People told me you could use, what, B12, vitamin B6, just all these random vitamin supplements. I thought it was okay, I just have like maybe low iron or something. And I had gotten to the point where if I failed another class, I would have gotten kicked out of my major. That point happened, and I'm not even sure I want to say this, but and I tried to kill myself. And it was rash. I wasn't thinking straight, but at that point I felt like I had hit rock bottom. I really had hit rock bottom. I had let this disease, this thing that I won't talk about, I won't seek help for, it had just destroyed everything. It had spiraled my life into this well of just despair. It shrunken it to a shiver of what it could have been, to what I could have done. I had lost friends. I had wasted thousands of dollars retaking these classes, and I had gotten to the point where I thought maybe I'm just dumb, you know, maybe I'm just stupid. I didn't want to accept. In the bottom of my heart, I knew something was wrong beyond just, you know, my performance in school. I knew there was an underlying cause, but it's so stigmatized, it's so taboo that I didn't know who to talk to. I didn't want to talk about it. It's just it's not something you want to talk about. So after that happened, I told my friends, and thank God I have friends that, you know, that care. Thank God they put up with me even through. I even know, I'm well aware that I can be a dick sometimes, especially when I'm in my mood. I can be the biggest dick, but they put up with me, and you know, they're like, Cecil, go get help. So I didn't want to do it, but I went to a psychiatric assessment clinic, and of course the doctor prescribed me Prozac. He prescribed me Prozac, and he recommended a kind of like a therapy program. It's similar to being what would happen if you got admitted to a hospital, but it's not quite. You go there for a couple hours a day, you come back. It's completely voluntary. It's not like I got admitted or anything, but it's completely voluntary, but it's there to help you put in place and learn skills to help control a lot of negative thoughts. Because another thing that would happen when I'm in these like 2 to 3 week periods of just having no energy, not wanting to do anything, is I would have really destructive thoughts. Like, I'd be like, oh, my life sucks, oh, I'm dumb, oh, I'm never gonna become an engineer, oh, this or that. You'd have these thoughts that would just keep pushing you deeper and deeper into a hole, and it would just be the most unhelpful thoughts. So that program helps you with, you know, recognizing the power of your thoughts, the power that just thinking negative things will actually put you into a more negative situation. So he prescribed me Prozac, and then again, this is another reason why I did not want to go, is because I've heard such terrible things about the medication, that it's going to turn you into a shell of yourself. You're not going to have any more personality. You're not going to feel anything. I've been taking it for a little while now, and it has helped so much more. It has made me, I didn't think I had anxiety, but apparently I do, because it has made me so much more comfortable with social situations. It's made talking to a camera a lot easier than I ever imagined it could be. It has made me see, you know, I still do have negative thoughts, I still do have emotions, but they don't linger as much as they did. Like, I'll have a passing thought like, oh, what if I don't do well on this test? And it doesn't spiral into, oh, if I don't do well on this test, I'm gonna get kicked out of school, I'm gonna end up addicted to something. Like, it keeps you know, your thoughts in check. It doesn't control you. I don't want to, like, you know, what I imagined was like, oh, I'm not going to be able to think or feel anything, but I still feel emotions. I laugh, I cry. It's been really helpful to me, and it's affected a lot of things that I didn't realize that, you know, it could help. In that, on it, I realized that beforehand I was eating a lot just to eat, I guess, because, you know, food made me feel good. I've lost a little bit of weight on it, as well as I don't spend as much. I realized that I was buying things just because, you know, buying gadgets makes me happy. You do a lot of things that are like self-destructive that it helps stop, I guess. And I really was sold on taking it after I realized how it worked, because all I'd heard up until that point was, you know, all the bad things that people says it does to you. But what sold me on it was that, in my understanding of it, I'm not a biochemist, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a psychiatrist, but what sold me on it is that it simply allows your body to keep more of the serotonin it produces. It doesn't add anything to your body that wasn't necessarily there, and that it doesn't add any, you know, serotonin that wasn't already there to begin with. There are a lot of potential side effects. In my experience, it does make I'm gonna put this it does make finishing when you have sex a little challenging. You'd probably spend a lot more time trying to get to that point than you would not on the medication. But other than that, the things that it's helped me with, I feel happier, I feel better. When I go to sleep and I sleep a regular amount of hours, I get up and I felt like I slept. I don't eat unnecessarily, I don't spend unnecessarily, I'm not irritated as much. I feel like I have more energy. I'm more comfortable in just social situations. Like, it's a funny thing I was telling my friend the other day, is that when you come to a traffic light and when I would be the first person at the traffic light, I would literally feel uneasy. I'd feel like everyone around the light, all the other cars that are first in the light, would be looking at me. And she laughed, but she was like, that's crazy that the things that you don't realize are significant and that bother people, how significant they can be to other people. And everyone who's watching this, I feel like if you are watching this, that you're probably dealing with depression yourself, or you know someone, or you just want to learn about it. My experience, especially with the medication, I know is not typical. Well, I mean, there is no typical experience with it. People have crazy side effects. Some people, it makes them feel worse. And you should take it with a grain of salt that typically the people who express their opinions about the medication typically either had a really good experience with it or they had a really bad experience with it. And I'm on the end that I had a really good experience. I don't plan to be on it forever, and I don't think it's something that you should want to be on forever, but it will definitely give you that bump that you need to get out there, try to make friends, try to do things that will help you, you know, add a bolster so that you never fall into a spiral. And depression isn't like, oh, I feel bad all the time. You'll have your okay days, you'll have your bad days, but if you don't have, you know, people around you, if you don't have activities that you at least liked while you weren't sad, then you'll fall into a spiral, and that spiral typically ends with suicide. So the medication helps you build those bolsters so that, at least in my experience, it helps you build those bolsters so you don't fall into the bottom, to the complete bottom. I just want to be that proverbial drop in the bucket that creates those many ripples, that hopefully I can be one more person to talk about this and hopefully bring this issue out of the closet. Like, there's no reason that people shouldn't be able to talk about this. There's no reason that it shouldn't become a thing that, you know, gets screened for. You go for a physical every year, why don't people ask about these things, you know? I don't think the doctor has ever asked about, oh, how do you feel? Have you ever, like, you know? anything. They want to know your blood pressure, but hey, what about your brain? You know, what about your head? Every other organ but your brain gets inspected. But that's it. That's all I had for today. So I'm gonna leave some links down below of helpful numbers, websites you can go to for help for yourself or someone else you're worried about. And see you guys in the next one. Bye.